Hey there, everybody. Cam here. I wanted to create this video to provide a visual representation and provide more context around what it is that we do in the world. I have this cool design that I built in Miro that is a recent example of a design that I gave to a client that showed them what they could do to accomplish what it is that they were looking to accomplish. And I'll get into that in a second. And before I do, pardon me, I have a dog at my feet and another one that goes up and down the stairs. So you might hear one of them during this video. Anyway, this design that I built in Miro is a representation of how this client thought that they should and were supposed to go about scaling their business and building it to be the organization that they thought it needed to be in order to accomplish the dream that they had around their business and their product. And I provided a alternate perspective, which is a clear representation of how I see it. Okay, so before I zoom in, I do want to preface with everything that I'm about to share and everything that I'm about to say is simply a perspective. I'm not here to say that this is the way or this is how somebody should go about it or how a business should design their strategy around scaling. It's simply a perspective, and that's based off of shared experience and lived experience. And what I mean by that is I've spent quite a lot of time the last several years peeking under the hood of businesses of all shapes and sizes, from e-commerce companies to agencies to SaaS companies. And what I will share is a culmination of information that I've put into a clear representation like this to go, this is how I see it. Okay, so that's the lived experience, is actually doing this with companies, actually doing this with clients, and helping them accomplish whatever it is they were looking to accomplish. The shared experience is some of the resources that I use in this example and in the information that I provide to companies and to clients is made up of external resources that I would consider the gold standard from other people that are smarter than me in their own special ways around operations, around operational excellence, around systems thinking, around business design, around business models and things like that. So not everything that I share here is mine. I lean on some other people because I appreciate what it is that they built that helps me create the full spectrum of what a business is capable of. Cool. So I'm going to zoom in here and kind of walk you through the story of what I created for this client. Okay. All right. So to start, what you see here is a common approach that many businesses take because they think that they should. It's commonly discussed in the operations world and the scaling and systems world that companies that are ready to take their business to the next level ought to get clear on these things. And it's usually get clear on your org chart, or some people call it an accountability chart. Define the roles that will be within the organization once you get to a certain point. Once you get to that vision and the pinnacle of where you want to be, what will your team look like? It's typically how it's led. The other thing is like an EOS or traction model. Get clear on the values, mission, principles, the rocks, KPIs, OKRs, data metrics, things like that, so that you can take that information and then build around it or start implementing whatever it is that you get clear on. So that's what this client came into this relationship thinking that they wanted to do. And so what you'll see here is I kind of gave two perspectives. One is, well, if you're going to go about it this way, here's what I would do. And then the other is, however, this is how I see it. And if I were you, I would go about it this way instead. Now, that's simply just a perspective, and I demonstrate that here in a second. So once they came in clear on their org chart, they wanted to build a team of 27 people, right? So what I did was I said, cool, if you are still wanting to do that, at the end of this relationship, here is what I would do if I were you. I would break up that org chart into different pods when you're ready to start creating projects for people to fulfill on. Okay. And this isn't a new concept. It's not my concept. It's not my thinking. This is a common strategy within organizations. Okay. However, many businesses get it wrong, and it usually ends up being a catastrophe where communication within each pod is an empty silo. And usually it's because each pod isn't taught how to communicate together within their pod, as well as with every other pod to complete the project. So that's what I describe here. If I were you, and you're going to go about building your business the way that you came in wanting to build it, I would do it this way. Okay. So that's the common way. That's how it's usually discussed. What I added is, once you do that, okay, and this is where my thinking comes in, and what I appreciate and am a advocate for, is a company called Strategyzer created a concept called the business model canvas and the value proposition canvas. And what this is designed to help companies get clear on is what their company's about, who their company's for, what their product's about, who their product is for. And by the end of the creation of these canvases, one ought to come out of it with nearly absolute clarity, so that they can then take that information and innovate or scale or have a sense of certainty that they know what it is that they're doing. From experience, a lot of companies that I've worked with, the one thing that almost all of them were missing is clarity. Clarity on their vision, clarity on where they want to go. If it's a partnership, usually it's one partner wants to go this way and the other wants to go that way, but they think that they're on the same page, and that usually creates stagnant growth or stagnant thinking within the entire organization. So this is designed to eliminate that and combat that. So what I did was I took these, okay, and these are designed to put on a wall inside of an office and actually in person put sticky notes on them. I took that concept and made it a digital representation, just like Strategyzer does within their courses and stuff. But what I did was I took these and I broke them up into a mind map, okay, so that it became clear what comes out of those canvases and what comes out of the practice of getting clear from the canvases. And so if I zoom in here, and I'll just do one section of this for now. This is the distribution channel section. This is also, some people will call it the marketing strategy. Well, there's 3 different distribution sections within this example for this specific client. There's the social media and online presence. There's the offline presence with books and merch and journals and stuff. And then I threw in here a projection of what could possibly happen in the future with augmented reality and the metaverse and things like that. Okay, so I could zoom in on each one of these things and create content around it and talk about how this matters to an organization and why being clear on these things actually helps a company make more appropriate decisions, and an owner, founder, the team of the company feel better about what it is that they're creating, and reduce the amount of pressure and stress and chaos that usually coincides with lack of clarity. Okay, so that's what I did, is I broke up those canvases into a mind map like this, in hopes that when this was looked at, this client would go, oh, this isn't just the org chart and the team, not even to mention this is 27 different people with their own emotions and things that happen in their life and problems and issues and perspectives of the world. That's a completely different aspect of a company. And it doesn't need to happen that way. Companies don't need to be built like that anymore in order to get to a place where, many people just want financial freedom or to enjoy their lifestyle and have a stream of income that supports that. Well, a team of 27 doesn't need to be created in order to accomplish that. Okay. And that's my real point that I'm attempting to convey is it doesn't need to be this way. We can go about it a different way, and I'll show that here in a second. So my purpose was to show, cool, there's this, but there's also all of these moving pieces as well. This is the business in general, right? With all its moving pieces, with the marketing channels and the value proposition and the partnerships and all of the key activities that must be thought about when building a team, right? Because there's human resources and there's performance reviews and performance metrics and, you know, all the nuances that happen within scaling a team and building a team. My purpose was to show that, cool, this provides clarity so you can see it, the full picture of essentially what you're getting yourself into. Okay. Now that what I just showed was, or is, the common narrative around what many people say one should do or is supposed to do or the most appropriate way to go about it. I tend to see things a little bit differently. If it were me, okay, and I were this client and I were wanting to take my company to the place that they wanted to take theirs, how I would go about it is I would start with getting clear on the business model and the value proposition first. I would have absolute clarity on that, assuming that I have a product that's already been proven and I have customers that have already bought things and I have proven the minimum viable product, right? I've already proven that people want to buy what I'm offering. Well, I wouldn't start building an org chart and hiring people and doing that until I got clear on my business model as a whole and my value proposition and refined it until it was exactly what I wanted it to be. And then I would break that up into the mind map that I showed you so that I could see all the moving pieces. Okay. And then I would sit back and I would go, cool, I'm clear on my business model. I'm clear on my value proposition. Do I still need to build a team of 27? Or could I do it with 4 people or 5 people? Could I do it with me and one other person? Right? James Clear is a perfect example of that. It's him and one other person, and he's created a pretty cool little kingdom for himself, a little empire for Atomic Habits and things like that. I would look at this and go, cool, what do I actually need? Now that I'm clear on my business model, now that I'm clear on who my people actually are, and I've broken it apart, right? And that's what it is that I do. That's how I see it, is I break businesses apart, kind of like a puzzle, and then I put them back together. I would go, cool. Do I still want to do that? Is this still the route that I want to go? Is this still the vision that I wish to pursue? And so that is an example of what we help companies and business owners and CEOs and founders get clear on, is really get clear on what it is that you're working with. Because what that will do is, once you have clarity, I'm of the belief that clarity creates a sense of certainty, and a sense of certainty creates confidence that we're capable of going out and doing whatever it is that we wish to accomplish, which then informs our decision making. I can use the business model canvas and the value proposition canvas and go, I'm going to make all my decisions based off of that because I know what it is that I want. Yes, within that, I would recommend getting clear on vision, mission, values, a shared language that the entire company uses. That's secondary stuff. That's second tier stuff to having clarity around what's in my head and what I want to create in the world. So that's a quick example of what it is that we do in the world, what it is we do for companies. I'm a geek about this stuff. I'm a nerd about it. Again, it's not the way, it's simply a way that people can start to think about it. And hopefully I, with this video, instilled some new beliefs, shifted some perspective, and made things a little bit more clear about how one could pursue whatever it is that they want to create. Thanks for watching.